Gipson, and I'm here to help you understand the financial situation that we have been subjected to, not only in America, but in the world at large. Today's topic will be about inflation. The inflation effect is one that is really gaining a lot of popularity among a lot of podcasting hosts who talk about the economy, simply because it is a true reality of the society we live in now. Nowadays, if you haven't been paying attention to the prices of food and other common commodities, everything is increasing in price rather than decreasing as time passes. The reason why that is occurring is because of what I touched on in the second podcast about economic history. As the Great Depression tore apart our economy because of the deflation that our currency experienced, which is simply the effect that the gold currency system had on our dollar. Back then, our dollar was backed by the gold that we had in our Federal Reserves. And because of that, as gold was used up, the value of our currency increased. And because we got to a point where the gold reserves were dwindling vastly, our paper money assumed an increased rate of value that was so high that if you tried to go buy any common commodities, they would be dirt cheap because they were so diminutive in value compared to the currency used to buy them. So it was horrible for business because businesses, of course, they thrive off of gaining the consumers' money. The accumulation of that money is the point of business. But because people valued their currency more than common commodities, they had to lower the prices. Well, to change that effect, America and some organizations that we had within America took the steps to take our currency off of the gold standard. And when we did that, we also created two organizations that caused the rest of the world to do similar things in their own municipalities. So now, our dollar is backed by, in all practicality, debt. But it's not only our dollar, it's also the currencies in all of the other countries also. For example, if today they pass a $2 trillion bill, they will give out the money in whichever respect that they're supposed to, but you and I and all of our people that we have, that we hold real dear to us, will have to pay it back because our dollar is essentially a promissory note now, saying that though this bill has been issued, which is a dollar, it is only backed by the promise of the people to pay back its true value. Well, as we continue to pass bills, we continue to help people out through the social welfare programs and other social programs, public services, stuff like that. We continue to cause our dollar to lose value because we print out more dollars without generating more services and products that are produced domestically. So the effect of that is that though we had an extremely highly valued currency back in the late 20s, early 30s, we've been able to get it to drop to a value that is economically conducive to our success because we can trade with other countries without them having to use too much of their currency just to replace the value of ours. And also it helps us internally because businesses now can charge more for their products. But because of how things are going, our economy is actually declining because we've becoming so valueless that in the future, we won't be able to buy anything with that particular currency, which is the U.S. dollar and all of the other currencies used around the world. When that point occurs, there will be something that will happen that will be truly cataclysmic, and it will cause the fall of all economies, or a restructure of all economies, because a new currency will have to be developed. Now, I cannot say what that particular currency will be, but based off of the trends that we have set in America and in China and all of the other superpower countries, it will possibly be a cyber form of currency. And because of that, it's best now to invest in the things that will help you, or not only help you, but that will help society. For example, gold, silver, aluminum, copper, and all of the things necessary to create the things that we pay for right now would be the best investment for passive income or for capital gain right now. Because even when we go to a different form of currency, at the end of the day, currencies are only used as a universal form of money so that we can buy the things that we truly want. In the next episode, after the one that I've already recorded, I will talk about derivatives, but right now I'll give you a brief summary of what a derivative is. A derivative is when one form of currency is produced in a different manner than which it derived from. For example, in the beginning, if you had a cow and I had a chicken, and I needed your cow, but you already had a bunch of chickens, I wasn't able to get that cow. So we had to come up with a form of currency that was universal to where I could pay for your cow and you could reuse that currency for whatever you needed instead of the thing that you did not need. So, in essence, the dollar was a derivative of gold back when we were on the gold standard. Because of all the derivatives, it caused our economy to come closer to the cataclysm that we are beginning to see now also, but it's not the sole factor. The only reason why I bring it up is because at the end of the day, the thing that you truly do need is the only thing that is not a derivative, and you need copper, aluminum, and other elements like that that are conducive to the success of society because they are basic needs for all of the things that can be constructed. So if you invest into that right now, and let's say 20 years from now, our economies collapse and we stop using paper forms of money, no matter what the currency may be, you will be able to sell those things or harness their inherent ability to create other products and remain financially stable, if not become extremely wealthy. Of course, like I've been stressing the entire podcast, financial freedom is readily attainable through passive income. So you would want to generate streams of passive income with those particular investments, but even if you didn't go the passive income route and you simply wanted to use it for a capital gain, that would be cool too. And one example I'll give is the gold reserves in this world are dwindling at a much slower rate than the silver reserves. And the reason why is because silver reserves are used much more. You use silver for many things, including the batteries in our phones. So because we use it for so many more things than we use gold, it causes our reservoirs to dwindle at a much faster rate. And as things dwindle that are needed at a fast rate, the rate of their value increases at that same rate. So as time passes, inflation will increase, causing the amount of money needed to pay for things that we need to increase. But because silver is dwindling at such a fast rate, and it's one of the things that we need, its value will also increase. Meaning that it's almost increasing doubly because of the inflation effect and also because of the effect of supply and demand. So let's say you buy or invest in a silver mine. And some of the ore you cultivate and refine into usable silver. Let's say you have $200,000 worth of silvers put back in a stash box, along with the production of the silver ore and refinement of it, and use of that mine in a passive way, so that you will generate passive income through it. Well, the silver that you stored will not be generating any money at all, so of course it's not a passive income revenue source, but 10 years from now, let's say that there's a 50% markup on the value of silver, and that $200,000 worth of silver now is worth $300,000 worth of silver. So you could sell it and make a $100,000 profit, and I definitely could not be against that. Of course, the silver mine would constantly generate revenue passively, which I feel like is a better way to invest your money, but I can't be against investing for a capital gain in something that will only gain value. See, there are many different people in this world, and the two basic economic modes that we have been installed with have been, one, the owner mentality, which is the mentality of people like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, Warren Buffett, and many others of that caliber. Those people, they generally do not spend as much time working as people would think, and the reason why is because they invest their money rather than save. If you save your money, you are simply losing money as time passes because inflation is increasing, which in a sense is practically taking your money up since you have to pay more for the things that you need. But your source of money is not increasing if you're saving. So because these people understand that, they have developed a behavioral system where they do not save as much as they invest. I'm not saying they don't have a savings account or a trust fund for their children and stuff like that, but they do invest their money much more than they save because they understand that the way to counteract the inflation effect is to keep money coming in, which is the epitome of passive income. The other mode of thought in the economic mode of how people think is the worker mentality, which is the common orthodox mentality that most people who think they have financial knowledge assume. These sort of people, they're the ones that tell you that you need to work hard your entire life at a job that pays adequate wages and save, and when you finally do retire, you'll have a nice bit of money and you can live comfortably. All of that is true, but I don't know about you, but I don't want to live comfortably. I want to live leisurely. I want to be wealthy, not rich, nor comfortable. And because of that, you can have doctor money or lawyer money living that way, but you'll never have Elon Musk or Steve Jobs money living like that. So what I want people to take into account is there is a way of governing that can be manipulated in such a way to where they can come out on top rather than letting others come out on top for them. And what I mean by that is, if you put your money in an account or a savings account, you might generate 2-3% interest on that money that you put in that account, while the people who you gave the money to generate 100 to 200% profit based off the investments that they invest with or in. Why be the person who is being chump changed rather than be the person who is at the top rung of the ladder. Well, I don't know about you, but I would rather be the boss than the worker. And because of the society we live in, money rules everything, along with societal influence. Once you get the money, you can get the social influence. And once you get the social influence, you can make a bigger impact on the people around you. So if you want to create generational wealth and you want to change something truly, the best thing for you to do is to take advantage of the system that we have in place and understand the inner workings of that system, just as the owner mentality-based people have. Well, for the most part, I've gotten the idea across to you. I believe that I wanted to get across in this particular episode. I do this so that I can educate people and help them to better themselves, because by changing people, I will change this society. And by changing this society, I may one day change the world. So I will end this episode by saying thank you, salam, and I hope God blesses you with all of the things that you're asking for.